The project was a 20 million euro investment with 34 partners across the entire Atlantic Ocean, focusing on what is called integrated ecosystem assessment for the ocean. So try to understand what are the major pressures that we have today in the ocean and also for the future. Try to understand how we can actually manage them and what type of response we as a society should have to mitigate and adapt to these changes.
I'm very hopeful that this can help guide other countries, especially data-poor countries for which there's not many examples how to go about identifying and mapping vulnerable marine ecosystems. So I'm hoping this work creates a sort of recipe for others to follow and do similar work in their areas. So I think we build a good foundation, but there definitely is room for improvement, and it's the work of the scientists to better translate and communicate our messages to different practitioners and stakeholders so that they really understand our work and why it is important.
The shipping sector, while it's decarbonizing, is an important opportunity to address biodiversity loss and pollution, and this is a tremendous opportunity for integrated ecosystem assessment tools like we've developed here in the Mission Atlantic project. And that's because we need to better understand and monitor what the impacts of the new fuels, the new operations, the new vessels, the new routes. How do we measure, and how do we also avoid creating new problems while we're trying to fix others?
The value of the information we have produced is completely different now that we have a tool that can actually disseminate it in a much more easily manner. Other scientists who are interested in getting access to data have used it, but also we've introduced it to different stakeholders, the industry or non-governmental organizations. They're also interested in it, and also fisheries managers are interested in it. So it can benefit a wide range of people because it's easy access to data that is quite fundamental for understanding how ecosystems change.
There's a lot of shared values and goals when it comes to especially marine management between Europe and New Zealand, especially Denmark and New Zealand being relatively small, very maritime nations. We can learn a lot from the different backgrounds and histories of how these things kind of converge. Providing frameworks and tools and experiences to help people who are clearly have an interest in doing IEAs and holistic assessments, showing them what we've done, them learning from us.
And as part of Mission Atlantic, we've been developing a user-friendly web interface for the end-to-end marine ecosystem model Strapi2E. And Strapi2E has been designed for strategic analysis of big picture problems, including climate and fisheries pressures on ecosystems. So that ability to code is a bit of a barrier in engaging in these conversations about model outputs, quantitative estimates, these sorts of things. So we want to take away a lot of that blockage and instead enable people's voices to be heard. So this might be fishermen who want to understand the balancing of extracting natural resources versus the future resilience of that resource, and we can see how that might play out with some simulations. It might also be young people who are interested in seeing how climate change might be impacting the future of aspects of the marine food web that they're really excited or interested in.
The main impact we had is that these things have been discussed for the first time in the Joint Scientific Committee that gives advice to the fishing agreements between the European Union and West Africa. Ideally, I would envisage that the new generation of fishing agreements would take this into account. The side effects that fishing in this region is producing, to better align policies in Europe and how we relate to third countries, like in this case, Senegal, the Gambia, Mauritania are very important for both migration and fisheries. And trying to convey this ecosystem-based vision across the Atlantic. We have Brazil, we have South Africa, we have West Africa. That's more Atlantic than only the USA, Canada, Europe.
We know that the tool is being applied within the Mission Atlantic project, Also, we did the first assessment for 30 main commercial fish species for the Atlantic Ocean, where we modeled the distribution in the 3 dimensions, considering the water column. And we expect that it can be further used in other projects, but also by managers that they are needing these decision support tools.
Obviously for us a big engagement was Mission Atlantic, our meetings, our workshops that we had within Mission Atlantic. Within the project, I think I would have focused more on getting the system earlier in the water. Even if the technology we think it's not ready yet, just put it early into the water, get kind of early evidence of the usage, and then direct yourself to actually talk to the practitioners that work in environmental assessments and other things that have often other ideas than we have, what they want to do with such a tool.
One of the key things that will happen with the data that we've acquired over large areas is it will inform future marine protected area development and biodiversity restoration, and to ensure that we protect sensitive species, vulnerable marine ecosystems and so forth. There's been a very, very positive knowledge transfer through the Mission Atlantic programme, so data and maps and products we've been generating in Ireland and in Europe have gone forth and now have been developed and implemented in Brazil, which has underpinned their marine spatial planning, their policy development and their decision process for where certain activities should happen offshore.
Looking into the future, if we keep using this data to help marine spatial planning and other coastal management initiatives, that would be the dream. Definitely, and as the only partner in the project in South America, it would be great to have other neighbors doing the same things and using the same methodology so we can compare results and try to build a cooperative initiative of sustainable ocean planning. In terms of the world, maybe making IEA a little bit more social driven as well, so we can take into consideration social aspects that are very important and so far not taking a lot into consideration.